up to 25% or more, black folks are adding to the budget of the cities, of which they are the majority. But then they've been oppressed as well. Right? Police use to acknowledge their presence and give a warning before they shoot and kill. Police, halt. Right? Now they just shoot you in the back. Police say they want to make it. Police say their whole argument is that police say they want to make it home safely at the end of their shift. But let me tell you something. So do people that you come in contact, they want to make it home safely as well. Right? And coming into contact with the police almost guarantees you will not make it home safely. Citizens of color deserve the same benefit. They want to make it home safely as well. Right? Finally, former Vice President Biden told a black man, I believe it was the Breakfast Club, that if he voted Republican, that he wasn't black. Come on, man. Come on, man. Now you control my racial identity too, right? Which is true. A lot of people just, anyway. Biden told the Breakfast Club in response to why should black people vote for him. He responded, just look at my record. He pointed out his work during the civil rights movement where he helped push through the Voting Rights Act. Man, let me tell you something. This Voting Rights Act has been all but dismantled by the courts and legislative trickery and deceit in order to disenfranchise the citizens of color, poor whites, and right-thinking people of all races. Now, this legislative trickery, that's why they want to stack the courts and so forth. And anybody that doesn't agree with them, they want to get rid of and fire them. There is no difference between Democrats and Republicans to me. They're destructive to the people. Republicans tell you to your face they hate you, while Democrats scheme and plot while working with Republicans to keep you in perpetual bondage. Biden to me, he's still a bigot. He's a liberal bigot. He just says he's kind of, but he can't help it. While Trump is a conservative bigot. This is where they were raised. These old people of that generation and stuff, it's ingrained in them. It's ingrained, just like our people that age, that 70-year age group. Something happened to them. 70, 80, their mind is a little different. Their mind is a little different. If they are conscious, they're cowards within. They don't want to do anything. They're scared. They've been beat down. And if a white person came on a bus that age up, they get up, they give them their seat. They've been mentally damaged, and that's been passed on for generation after generation, from 1865, down to the present, and even starting before then. See, in like 40, 50 more years, we'll be out of slavery, quote unquote, more than we were in, more than since the Emancipation Proclamation was. I did the analysis and so forth. 50 more years than we were in slavery compared to the time we were in slavery. So it has to balance out. We gotta get rid of that. And the thousands of years that we were rulers of the planet, rulers of the planet. So they don't want to give us credit. We talk about being kings and queens and all that, but let's be kings and queens today. Let's build pyramids today. Like, what are we going to do today? We keep talking about it. Let's start being about it. All right? Like I said, they were bred that way. Biden using such a statement just proves he thinks our blacks are idiots and can't think because we give away our votes without receiving nothing in return except keep hope alive. We have to stop. We'll address that issue. We got to quit giving away the votes. Quit giving away the votes. And I addressed that a little bit. I just posted a video on YouTube about taking back, action, using action to take back your power, take back your power. But it takes action. When somebody say keep hope alive, the same thing. It says fuck you. To keep hope alive, I'm saying fuck you, right? Have faith in God. Just wait on the Lord. Once again, they're just saying fuck you. On the other hand, blacks do act, certain blacks, and in general, because we can't get out here. We keep losing wealth. We had 2% wealth in 1865, and in another 40 years, that magic number will be at 0%. So for $100 having 2%, now you ain't got zero because you pass it on to the next generation and they lose it and throw it away. We're not being trained. There's no succession planning. That's why I did the estate planning legacy calendar. It's on the website. You should go there, download it, and get involved in the process. It would 12-month calendar take you through the process of creating, accumulating, preserving wealth. And pass it along and tell others. You know, it should be, you guys should be getting that information, cause the system to go down and crash. You know, you need that information. I'm giving it to you for free. I want something, let's say blacks are like idiots, but it's time for it to change. On the other hand, blacks do act like idiots, but it's time for this to change. We keep doing the same thing over and over and expect different results. And I know you're offended by that, but hopefully you do something. I'm on your side, right? It's time for a quid pro quo. You want my vote, you're going to have to give me something in return. But you got to make them give it to you. You know what I'm saying? And unity and economics, getting our economic house to order. We spend all that money outside our communities. $1.3 trillion outside our communities, like your husband going home making $100 a week and he bring $2 home. That's why we don't like each other. We ain't thinking right. Our minds ain't right. Our minds aren't right. And don't want to spend money in the community because I'm punishing you. We're racist against each other. The worst. So we point our finger at somebody else. We need to look at ourselves. It's time for a quid pro quo. I want something in return for my vote. It's not free, bitch. This is only business. If you want oppression to stop, this is what happens when you put your head in the sand, thinking whites will love you and look out for your best interests. You leave your rear end exposed and you will get screwed, causing your nature to change as a result from getting hit in the booty all the time. You know what I'm saying? You start liking it. Let's stop electing prosecutors to political office who have gotten their reputation by sending black men and women to jail, as well as oppressing people of color. And people running for president, and most of them are prosecutors. Sending black folks to jail, destroying black families, they running for president. And these people that run for governors and all that they've been prosecutors. Let's stop that nonsense. Wake up. You know what I'm saying? Wake up. No. They have a portion on the ballot to write in your candidates. You got to organize among yourself. And we need to create a group who monitor judges within your community. You need to know what their record is. We want just men and women because you see, real quick, when you raise their consciousness and you hit them in the mouth and stuff, they wake up like, oh, okay, then they see reality. But you got to really bring it to them in order for them to wake up. We want just men and women who are not blinded by greed and white political correctness. These people will send people of color to jail, but not deal with criminal behavior in the prosecutor's office. You had to prosecute the guy with the Arbery case, Mr. Arbery. Two or three prosecutors refused to take the case. Refused to take the case. You need to be fired. You need to be fired. Finally, this is why the criminal justice system is unconstitutional. So all this plea bargain stuff like that, anybody who took a plea bargain, they need to be set free. And if you create this movement through education, economics, and then we can fund these different departments, right? Have a powerful legal system that's separate from the judicial system that's being presented right now, right? Because if people didn't plea bargain, the whole system would be bogged down. But you scaring them half to death on stuff they don't have evidence for, and then they locking all these people up. Like it's unbelievable. This is why the criminal justice system is unconstitutional. It violates the spirit of the 13th Amendment, using the 13th Amendment to criminalize people and re-enslaving them through the back door. No actions should be allowed to violate the spirit of the law. It is a violation of the Equal Protection Clause, which is designed to treat all people equally, right? it's a violation of separation of powers. You got all these people working together. I'm going to cover later on another list. It's a violation of separation of powers, and it's a violation of Fourth Amendment due process clause. See, a strong law firm could attack this judicial system and at least slow it down from violating other individuals who have not done anything. And then we hit it by making sure that people don't enter into the judicial system. Then third, we dismantle the system of slavery. We dismantle it. But we need resources, we need energy, and we need to make sure that the community is behind the movement. We have to want something in return. It's like, wait a minute. The system has been rigged against blacks who were released from slavery without nothing and were recaptured through this process and continuously exploited since 1865. These systems of oppression listed below fuels white racism and white privilege. Police brutality. But police brutality exists because of the criminal injustice system. You have overly ambitious prosecutors who are racist. You have public defenders that are not to defend. I applied to the public defender's office on 2 occasions. And they finally, up to 3, I think. And they finally told me, say, listen, you're not a good fit because you're going to try to defend the people. You're not supposed to defend them. You're just supposed to protect their rights. I'm like, whoa, what's the difference? You messing with my head here. What is the difference? You'll slow the system down, right? Because you got one public defender probably got 80 cases or more. Then you have prison stocks. It's profitable. The prison is profitable. A judge, I heard, gets a bonus every time they send somebody to prison. They get a bonus, right? Increase federal funding for locking up persons of color. You get federal funding for, I heard one of these southern cities say, hey, man, we need more money. You got to lock up more people. We got to start locking up more people. Private prisons used to employ white rural America at the expense of the poor. That's how they get their jobs. That's how they get their jobs. And in my mind, when the Cold War ended, because I used to work in the Defense Department at that time, when the Cold War ended, lots of people got laid off. Groups of black engineers. I used to do the budgeting process and hiring and firing and manpower loads and putting them in the budget and so forth. When the Cold War ended, lots of people lost their job. So Republicans, and that's during Reagan, he needed a new economic program to put these people back to work. That's when he started incarcerating black folks, and start demonizing the black community. Around that period of time. Shut down all the programs, social programs, to make sure they didn't have nothing. To make sure you sent them to jail and locked them up. And they made that a cash flow system. White America has a built-in economic incentive to impress and destroy black lives. Not only have our ancestors built this country, but now they are using blacks to sustain their system because they don't create anything of value and lack imagination, right? Listen, if you start developing the minds of the people in this country instead of bringing in people from other countries because you can get paid cheaper. But first of all, we need to do that. There are lots of jobs. We need to prepare them for the jobs that are there. But then again, we need to create our own industrial revolution all over again. We need to create jobs and opportunities from the people and sever that umbilical cord between the government and these corporations. And the people need to wake up and be industrialized because this country was based upon American visions of a better future and a good work ethic. And we need to get back to that. We need to get back to that. And put down these video games and all these stuff like that and get to work. So, until next time, this is Real Talk Radio. And if you want change, you have to change. Talk to you next time. Peace.